Terry Moran attempted to have civil discourse with Donald Trump over his first 100 days. Some crazy stuff has happened, but to those who are acting alarmed at all of Trump's activity, he's only doing exactly what he said he would. I mean, 211 executive orders, most in modern history. 26 on day one, from DEI to gender restriction to shower heads, baby. And not one actual bill passed by Congress. They're all executive order. Over 200 lawsuits in response to his executive orders on immigration, DEI, voting regulations. So this legal expert I was watching, Ed Whalen, said, pretty interesting. For Donald Trump, law is nothing but politics. So it's not surprising that he would apply his tactics for political battles in the legal realm. Always be on the attack, never admit error, stoke grievances, proclaim false victories, post conspiracies, contemn, like MS-13 knuckles, condemn betrayal, decry tyranny, own the libs, redefine reality, sow chaos, improvise on the run. Pretty well said. He said to me famously, I told you, back when we were doing Access Hollywood in New York and I was calling him out on the ratings, he said, Billy, stop asking about the ratings. I mean, just who cares? You know, I'm number one, I'm number 50. You just tell people and they believe you. That's firsthand. That was to me. So thanks to his wild wielding of tariffs against friend and foe alike, markets have tumbled. Thanks to the abrupt and overwhelming expansion of his powers, deportations without due process, acts of retribution, firing all federal agency inspector generals. Like no ombudsman, no one with a whistle. Popularity has tumbled. He stands at 42% right now. Biden, at this time, after 100 days, 59%. Which words do you connect with Donald Trump? Asked in a poll by New York Times and Siena College. Chaotic, 66%. Scary, 59%. Exciting, 42%. Trump celebrating his 100 days in Michigan with a rally, talking to the working man in a 3,500-person auditorium and proclaiming victory. Successes? I see some successes for sure. Border crossings down 90%. All talk of immigration is a safe space for him. I mean, the use of videos showing shaved head, scary criminals hunched over and being put in this big mega prison in El Salvador. You know, the use of social media is so smart. The attack on woke, just woke anything, January, February, that resonated big time. Gender ideology, we're snapped back into position where male and female are what we have on our driver's license. We're kind to everyone. But, you know, that seems to be what people want. Biological males out of women's sports, popular. The pursuit of elite universities, withholding federal funds. I don't know if that's legal, but I do think there's a problem indoctrinating students with liberal ideology. Like, where's the balance? Where's the debate on campus? I like that he took a stand on that. He shut down these anti-Semitic Hamas protests. Now the failures are giant, man. I mean, defying the rule of law in every way. No due process, whether it's for that, alleged MS-13 Maryland citizen, Abrego Garcia. A lot of personal retributions. The story of what he did to this guy, Chris Krebs. Chris Krebs led the cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency called CISA during Donald Trump's first term. Trump ordered the Justice Department to pin a crime on Chris Krebs for stating nothing was wrong with voting machines in 2020. He looked into it. He did his job. He said there was nothing wrong. And now Trump is trying to sick the Department of Justice on him. He said this about Krebs. I think Chris Krebs was a disgrace to our country. I think he was terrible. By the way, I don't know him. I don't know him. I'm not, I don't think I ever met him. I know very little about Chris Krebs, but I think he was very deficient. He just had to quit his private sector job, the guy. I mean, shaking down legal firms that ever had any lawyers that worked for his enemies. Extortion of corporate America. They used that on the New York Times this morning, the word extortion. And Trump called it bending the knee. Make them bend the knee. CEOs flying to Mar-a-Lago and writing giant checks to Trump's political operation. Bezos and Zuckerberg and Tim Cook, all the tech bros donating at the inauguration. All extortion because they know he's going to come after them if they don't It's fear. It's mafia kind of stuff. It's frightening. The shakedown of media companies, ABC for $15 million because George Stephanopoulos misspoke. CBS in a huge lawsuit right now they're trying to get rid of so they can sell the company to Larry Ellison's kid. Trump is building a war chest that he's going to need to spend in the midterms because it looks bleak right now. It looks like a blue wave if it keeps going like this. The only thing not living in fear of Donald Trump, the economy, the bond markets, the stock market, the global trade war appears like a disaster. It looks like Trump wants to find an exit ramp, but Chinese manufacturing just reported its worst month. So maybe the threat of tariffs is enough to get some kind of deal. Too early to know. But long term, 145% tariffs is nuts. We got to make a deal. Because here in the USA, very soon the shelves are going to be bare because of this scorched earth war with China. There are insider reports that Trump is desperate. He says Xi Jinping is calling him. No, he's not. But he may soon. And if he doesn't call you, you should call him and say, listen, I meant to call someone else. I got the wrong number. But while I have you, again, nobody can be shocked by the trade war. Since the 80s, he's been crying, they're ripping us off. They're killing us over here. It's unfair. Turns out people like the rhetoric, but not the effects of it. And the market certainly doesn't. They thought it was just about us getting better deals, but he's been so obsessed with countries freeloading off of us, but with that comes their dependency on us, which, you know, we kind of like that. We kind of like America as the unquestioned world leader. We're losing that. Do we want to blend into the world, into this new multipolar world, or do we want to lead the world? I hope whoever comes along next can restore it. Maybe he can. Just pick up the phone. Talk to Macron and everyone else. I will settle that. He says, I will settle that war in 24 hours. Talking about Ukraine and Russia. Now he says he was kidding. He promised peace. He hasn't delivered. Putin's run over him, throwing Ukraine under the bus, telling the world that, they started the war with Russia. Ukraine started the war with Russia to appease Putin and lure him into peace. It didn't work. Vlad then bombs the bejesus out of Kyiv directly. And what do we get? A response that says, Vladimir, stop, on Truth Social. Oh, my God. And then finally, there's the sycophants, the secretaries of the cabinet who are all sycophantic. Hegseth. We almost had Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Remember, we avoided that. Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio, and they service him publicly in a cultish way. It's cringy. He loves a press conference where his cabinet passes around the proverbial knee pads. Little Marco, the worst offender until today, Attorney General Pam Bondi. He's sitting in a conference room, and Trump looks over at Pam, and he goes, Pam? And Pam goes, President, she didn't even say Mr. President, President, you are the greatest president that we have ever experienced in the history of America. No president has ever started like you. You promised these things. You've delivered. It has been my honor, Mr. President. You've seen it from Marco Rubio in the, in the Oval Office. The Prime Minister of Norway is there, and he's like, Marco? And then Marco goes, oh, you've got it? Okay, listen to this. Here's Pam Bondi today taking her turn in the barrel for Trump. Take a listen. Pam?
President, your first 100 days has far exceeded that of any other presidency in this country. Ever. Never seen anything like it. Thank you.
Oh, my gosh. Can you believe that? That is humiliating. You're the Attorney General. That is humiliating, but it's a job requirement. Let me a reminder. It's also the first 100 days of hot mics, right? We've been on exactly the same as the Trump administration. We started on an inauguration day. Steve, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Well, I just like to say that I think this is the greatest show that's ever been launched in the history of shows.
You can do more. You can do more.
Well, I've also heard that it's greater than great when I walk out on the street.
People say that.
And also, I think that you're the handsomest.
Rob, do you have anything you'd like to add there, Secretary of Research and Producing?
Well, Bill, some things have happened in America, but nothing like this. This is something that's not happened before in the history of our country. And I think Howie has some things to say.
Howie, would you like to humiliate yourself too? Is Howie Mandel in there, our landlord?
Yeah, I'm here. This is just, it's just, I'm just getting emotional. No, I am.
Yeah,
I because this whole
the show
hot
this
mics,
great.
I've never been around this kind of greatness. I'm sorry.
I understand the emotion, Howie. I get it. I totally. Thank you so much. Anyone else wants to humiliate themselves, please do. It's just it's crazy. The biggest problem is beloved MAGA. There's some great people in MAGA. You're beautiful. I see you out there, deeply faithful people. And you cover for them because, you don't want to look dumb for getting hoodwinked. And, fair criticism is admitting fault. And Trump taught them life is a zero-sum game, right? In their defense, nobody likes to be shamed by shitty little shamers, and the media is loaded with them. Hillary used the term deplorables, and people don't forget that, but they don't want to be told, you screwed up, ha ha, we got you. If you give some of these people a graceful out, they might admit, oh, God, this is frightening. What the hell did we get into? We'll see. It's certainly exciting if you're in the media like we are.